And we're live. Welcome back to another Sculpt Session Sunday. I'm your host, Sash, and I am here with the beautiful Mandizzle with the Shizzle. Say hi.
Hey guys.
And Mandizzle and I are coming to you guys hot with an episode today of how to stay consistent when life is lifing. And in one way or another, life is always lifing, whether it's something really great that's happening, whether there's some chaos, whether it's work, whether it's holiday season, whatever. There's always some kind of chaos happening in life. And the purpose of this episode is to show how you can continue making progress in your fitness journey, how you can stay consistent, how you can keep checking off your boxes even when life is lifing. So, Mans, I want to jump right in and I want to ask you a question.
Okay, hit it, hit it.
What is the first thing that slips for you when life gets chaotic? And I know
Oh,
you're really good. I know you're really good with your stuff. So I wanna know your deepest, darkest secret. Where do you mess up?
this question, dude. Okay, I'm just laughing because last week we literally talked about this and I was like, I am always my non-negotiables, which is true, are like, steps, water, food's given, but then getting my training in. But at the same time, the first thing that like slips for me, it's very subtle. And like you said, I'm very good. I've been disciplined for years, and I know you're the exact same way. But the same things that are my go-tos are the subtle slips that I'll see, where I'll be
Mm,
like, oh, example, goal is 12K steps. Life starts lifing. All of a sudden I'll be like, oh, well, I got 10K, so that's fine. That's fine. I got 10K. Like, okay. And I got,
I mean, hey,
me
10K is still good, but it's not your goal.
right. It's not my goal. So I'll notice like subtle slips like that. And that's where will sometimes have to slip in and out of like athlete and coach mindset, where I'm like, if I were a coach talking to my girls, I'd be like, hey, in this season of life, if you can get 10K, that's better than
Yeah,
1K,
yeah,
you know?
yeah,
But then the athlete in me is like, girl, is this acceptable?
yeah,
This is really? So like that I'll note it's not a huge slip, it's just something like that. Or maybe I'll go over macros by like 15 grams, but it's not just like one day. I'll notice it happen over like a week, almost like 5 out of 7 days, and I'll be like, oh, okay, like we need to reassess the situation here.
yeah.
So very subtle.
Very subtly. How do you how do you get yourself back in? How do you reel it back in?
It's the conversation with
Yeah.
myself because look, if I wasn't into bodybuilding, if I didn't have this like end goal, like long-term goal, I'd be totally fine with that like coach mentality of like there are life seasons. You're fine with this because it's not like like I said, I'm not just getting 2K steps, 10K is still it's a good respectable number. So if I were just a regular lifestyle person, I'd be like, this is fine. We'll stay like in this maintenance period for a little bit, but I have to sit myself down and have that athlete talk and be
Yeah.
like, you have this goal. It's
Yeah.
important to you. It's important for a reason. 2,000 extra steps is 20 minutes walking. Like, you can do this. You could
Yeah.
like make the time. So it's really just calling myself out on the bullshit in a really loving way.
Yes. And I feel like when you do that as a coach, and even when you talk to your girls about, it's having different seasons of life and this and that, that's still a conversation that helps break that all or nothing mentality. And when you
Mhm.
mentioned not, it's still 10K, it's not 2K. If you were to look at the 10K as, damn it, I didn't hit my goal because it's not 12K, that's all or nothing.
Right.
Meanwhile, you were able, as an athlete and as a coach, still acknowledge the work that you are doing in order to continue moving in that direction. Because the reality is, yeah, maybe you had a really busy day and maybe you were at the computer all day, or maybe you had a really busy day, you were running errands, you were in the car all day, got stuck in traffic, things happen, couldn't hit all of your steps. You're not gonna beat yourself up to the point where tomorrow you're so discouraged to go and do the thing because, well, I didn't do it yesterday, so why does it matter if I do it tomorrow? Like there isn't that mentality that all or nothing. And that comes from having those hard conversations because I think in one way or another, we all have bits and pieces of like this all or nothing mindset of, well, if I didn't hit my protein, then I might as well like not hit this and not hit that, or like not eat this and not eat that, or just like go and eat whatever the heck I want to eat for the next couple of days because I fell off.
Mhm.
And what it really comes down to is consistency and keeping things going in your fitness journey, regardless of the season, comes from having systems, not relying on feelings of like how something made you feel, how this happened, how that happened. It's, you know, the boxes that you need to check off. Sometimes you get really dang close to them. Sometimes you check them off perfectly. And sometimes there's room to have a conversation with yourself. So, I love that you said that. And just to share on mine, the thing that slips for me when my life gets a little bit chaotic is my rest and recovery.
Ooh, don't I know it?
Yeah, I feel like we saw this coming. It could be, I mean, this is kind of toxic, but like it can be 8 or 9 p.m. And if I still have this whole entire thing to drink, and I know that I will be peeing all night and waking up in the middle of the night, I will drink it. And I will wake up multiple times to go pee and I will disrupt my sleep. If I have cardio that I need to get done and I could only get it done super early in the morning, like I would sacrifice sleep in order to, because otherwise, not that the world's gonna end if I don't do it. And this mainly comes into play when I'm very go. So I like knowing that I'm getting things done. And I also like making sure that I show up for myself fully. And I know that sleep and recovery and stress plays into that significantly, but that is what slips for me. When life gets really busy and when life starts lifing and when there's a lot going on, I will go and hit a leg down 5 hours of sleep if that's what I need to do. And that's not
Mm,
ideal. And I know it and I feel it and my body feels it and I don't like it and I don't enjoy it. But that's what slips for me.
that, but okay, but thank you for being honest because guys, we're not perfect.
Yeah.
And we're always constantly working on ourselves too. And I think a key here that people can take away from it though is kind of like what both of us said, just being self-aware about it, right? Makes a difference. As long if you know what you're doing to yourself, then you can also fix what you're doing to yourself.
Exactly. Exactly. And once you notice yourself going down this little slope, right? I don't want to say downhill, straight head down kind of thing, but like
Mhm.
you start seeing that little slope of, for me, it's, oh, okay, my sleep score was an 80. That's good. Then it was a 78. Then it's a 75. Then it's a 70. Then it's a freaking 30. Like
Oh,
it just, you know,
I
it just
was so scared for you.
listen, that was not my fault. We had a late night and then I had a client the next morning. So like again, had to do what I had to do. What was I gonna do? You
Life
know?
was lifing.
Life was
Life was
lifing. Life was
lifing.
lifing. And it was lifing in really great ways. Like this wasn't like
Mhm.
bad things going on. We had a really nice night out for one of our friends' birthdays. We went out, stayed out longer than we anticipated, came home super late. I had a client 5 hours after that. So I had to wake up, get myself together, got 4 hours of sleep. But these are great things because grateful to be able to spend time with my loved ones and do those things. Grateful to have clients that come to me at 8 in the morning on a Sunday to train some legs. Like, you know, so life was lifing, but in good ways. So the overarching theme here is normalize chaos. It's okay if you're having a chaotic period in your life, whether it's a good chaos, a bad chaos, stressful, low motivation, relationships, work, whatever. But don't let that be the driving point on whether or not you show up for yourself, even if we need to make certain adjustments to the way that you show up for yourself. Because, like Man said, we make adjustments. If her clients are in a season of life, and same thing with my clients, if they're in a season of life when 10K steps is, you know, like a lot, all right, let's do 8,500. If they're in a
Mhm.
season of life where training 4 times a week is just too much with work and whatever else they have going on, let's drop it down to 3 days of training and like make those really, really good sessions. So having a simple and adaptable plan is the next thing that helps deal with life when life is lifing. And the thing about having that simple and adaptable plan is I feel, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel that most people aren't inconsistent. They just have a plan that is inconsistent. Their plan doesn't fit their lifestyle to allow them to be
Mhm.
consistent with it.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think a lot of people envision the lifestyle they want to have, and there's nothing wrong with that. You definitely should. But I think where the ball gets dropped is understanding that that lifestyle you're envisioning that you want takes slow baby steps to get there versus, like you said, all or nothing, 0 to 100. You can't just wake up. If you've been sitting on the couch getting 2,000 steps a day and drinking 40 ounces of water a day, you're not going to wake up the next day and hit 10K steps and hit 128 ounces of water and all of your macros are perfect with 0, 0, 0 across the board at the end of the day. Like maybe that happens, but are you going to keep up with that? Like it has to be a slow build.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was going to say something really inappropriate there. I was going to say get some foreplay with those habits, but
You crack me up, but I love the way that your brain works. But yes, it has to be slow and you have to slowly introduce things because if we take a step back and you were to come to me right now and let's say you were new in the bodybuilding world or new into fitness or just getting started with your fitness journey and I was like, "All right, look, your plan is 10,000 steps, gallon of water, hit all your macros, 4 to 5 training sessions a week. I want you to check in with me. I want you to do this, that." And you've never done these things before, like you're setting
ooh,
the bar. Yes, it's good to set the bar high, but you're setting it to a place where you are setting yourself up to be inconsistent. Because when you don't hit one of those things, you will get discouraged and you will want to keep going. So, starting with having one non-negotiable habit, whether that, like, if you struggle with drinking water, have a non-negotiable habit that the first thing that you do every day is you drink a full cup of water. Whether that's 10 ounces, 12 ounces, you drink a full cup of water. Now you kickstart your day. Yep, I want to take a sip of water too. Now that I'm thinking about it, everyone take a sip of water real quick. Water
I did
cheers.
that.
Mm-hmm.
Cheers.
Mm-hmm.
Hydro homies.
Hydro homies. That sounded like hide your homies. Uh,
If they need
anyway,
it.
once you set, now that we took our water break, once you set those non-negotiable habits, you are able to adapt the plan when life is lifing instead of, and like when you have a lot of things going on, instead of just straight up quitting. You're able to start with those baby steps and build up. Because once you build trust within yourself that you can do this thing, and then you can do this thing. It's like, all right, you're able to show up for yourself. And that's the next point that I want to hit on is becoming the person who shows up anyways. And this is a mindset thing. This is like identity work, so to say. I don't want anyone to think that we're like guru or whatever, but it really does come down to who do you want to be? What kind of person do you want to be? And when things get hard, I want you to ask yourself, who am I when things get hard? Am I someone who's willing to quit? Am I someone who's willing to throw my hands up? Am I someone who's willing to, there's a bump in the road, and instead of going around that bump, I drop myself in it, even if it's like that much of a bump, and just like make a grave for myself. Like, who are you when life gets hard? Because a lot of us can be very good when life is easier,
Mhm.
when we are in momentum. When you are in momentum and you're checking off your boxes, that's great. That's awesome. Pat yourself on the back. I'm proud of you. But who are you when life gets tough? Because if you can't keep that momentum going when life gets tough, that's where you see your true colors. And that's where life is literally showing you, like, all right, we got stuff to work on here.
Mhm. Yeah. Girl, it's so good. It's something that I share this with my clients. I'm like, hey, if this sounds good to you, like adopt it. If it doesn't sound good to you, like we'll figure something else out. I had for a very long time, I think most people do, an imposter syndrome, just being like overweight for a majority of my younger life. I was like, well, I can't be an athlete. I was never in
Mm,
sports, so I didn't even have that going for me. I did dance for a couple of years before like I gained a lot of weight, but I didn't think of myself as an athlete. So when I was like, I'm gonna try and do this bodybuilding thing, I was like, can I even do this? Because you're right, there's like that identity part. And honestly, I really probably didn't even think of myself as an athlete until after I competed.
Wow.
And something that I told my clients that struggle with this identity or struggle with like the people pleasing like especially if they have families, right? And they're like, "Oh, I'm going to put my kids first. I'm going to put my husband first." And then it like, "Oh, I didn't show up for myself." I give them the image of like, I want you to picture yourself as a little kid, like 5 years old. And I'm like, now imagine that on your to-do list, you have to go pick up 5-year-old Sasha from the bus stop after school. Would you not pick her up because it's not important enough to you? Like, how is that little Sasha sitting at the bus stop waiting to be picked up, scared and alone, like gonna feel? Pick yourself up from the bus stop, do the
Mm,
thing, and that's how you build trust. Like the more you pick Sasha up from the bus stop and she's 5-year-old and it starts raining and she's alone, she sees you come pick her up, she's like, oh, like yay, somebody's there for me. It's the same thing. The more that we pick ourselves up from the bus stop, the more confidence we get, and we can start shifting our identity to someone that will show up for ourselves, rain or shine.
I love that. I love that. And to add to that analogy, so to say, there is, I read this somewhere or heard it somewhere. Every single time, and I might be making my own little version of it right now, but every single time that you do something for yourself that checks off one of your boxes, moving towards the person that you want to become, you are literally casting votes for yourself. You are filling up your own piggy box or what is it?
Ballot.
Piggy bank, ballot, whatever. You are literally like imagine you have an empty box and every time you do something, you drop a thing in there. Once it gets to a certain point, you're like, oh, heck yeah, like I got a half full box or I got a full box. Like you see, like you are building up that proof for yourself that you are
Mhm.
capable of doing it. And it's not a problem of, oh, I don't have self-confidence, I don't this, I don't that. The reason why you lack self-confidence and the reason why you lack these things is because you don't have trust within yourself. And you don't have trust within yourself because you don't do the damn thing that you said you were going to do. So it really comes down to taking action, whether it's messy action, whether it's not perfect, whether it's you're just dipping your toes in and making an effort, which will cast a vote for the person that you want to become, which once you build those up, you you do one day wake up feeling like, oh shit, yeah, I got this. Yeah, I have a really busy day, but now I know I need to pack my food in advance. I need to do this in advance because I've done that before. I figured that out. I figured that out. Oh, I have a busy schedule. You open it up. Okay, cool. This day I have to do this, steps early, gym early, this, that. Like you are able to not look at things from a excuse standpoint, but I'm gonna make shit happen standpoint. And
Yeah.
that's what it really comes down to when you have those hard conversations with yourself. Because if you're sick of your own shit and you want to make changes, you need to keep the promises that you make to yourself. Because, like you said, when you promise to pick your little self up from the bus stop and you don't, how's that kid? How would you feel? Like if your parents ever let you down when you were young, if someone told you that they were going to do something and they didn't, like how did you feel?
Yeah. You lose trust.
You
And that's
lose
the
trust.
same
So why
concept.
would you lose that trust within yourself?
Yeah.
Why would you put yourself in that kind of position where you don't trust yourself because you didn't take the action in order to trust yourself?
Mm, mm, mm.
So with all of that said, I feel like we could just wrap up right then and there. But I do want to give some practical life tools that you can use in your day-to-day that can help you when life is lifing, because that's what this episode is about, even though we went off a little bit. And I love that conversation that we just had about the mindset shifts because it does come down to the mindset shifts. If you want to be that kind of person, you need to believe that you are capable of being that person. And when you just as much as believe in yourself, not to be corny, but when you believe in yourself, you can actually take the steps to do so. Because no matter how silly, stupid, messy, whatever you're going to look or feel, you're going to be proud of yourself for making an effort. So, a couple of things that I would recommend to anyone who is going through a time when life is lifing is, first of all, having that conversation with yourself of where are your priorities? What is important to you? What is important, like, and when I say important to you, yes, family is important to you. Yes, your friends are important to you. Yes, your dog is important to you. But I want you to look inwards to your health, your mental state, and not to go off on a tangent, but there's a question that I ask my clients on the check-in form, and it is, what is one non-negotiable habit that you have a week? Like, what's your non-negotiable habit this week, and like, how did you like adhere to it? And I had a client, her response was something along the lines of, spend time with my family. And I was like, I love that. I love that spending time with your family is important. Please, by all means, put that in your calendar, put that in your schedule, make time for that because that is extremely important. But when I say a non-negotiable habit for you, I'm talking about you. I'm talking about you drinking water, you hitting steps, you getting sleeps, you doing things so that you could be better for your family, for the people around you, for the people that love you. So, with that, a couple practical real life tools, even though I already said one of them, but another one would be creating at least one non-negotiable habit for yourself a day that you can do rain or shine, that you can do no matter what the circumstances of whatever is going on, traveling, home, sick, not stressed, happy, doesn't matter. One non-negotiable habit, some great examples. Mandy, do you want to share some of the non-negotiable habits that you have? I know that you've like touched on them a couple of times, but like
Mhm.
just naming a couple off to give some examples.
Yeah, one of mine, steps. Even though I said I struggle with it, for me, that excuse, quote unquote, little quotes there, I have a walking pad. So even when the snow is a foot deep and it's like 20 degrees out, I can still get my steps in. And I think that's part of it too, is setting yourself up for eliminating those
Yes.
excuses, meal prepping to hit those calories. And then even if you want, if you're ready to take a step further, pre-logging those meals like for the week, that's another one. Yeah.
Yeah. I love those. And to add on to that, drinking water. Water for first thing every day,
Mhm.
water throughout the day. And something that Mandy said that stood out was having, like, she has that backup plan of having the walking pad because it's snowing outside. Have a backup plan for yourself when life is lifing. If you know you're
Mhm.
super busy and you don't have time to cook, order from a meal prep company. I personally order from Hummus Fit. You can use code SOSH. Not sponsored, but I love Hummus Fit. I know that Mandy used to use MegaFit meals at one point.
Mhm.
There are so many companies that you can order meal preps from. You can pick up a healthier meal from somewhere if need be. Like you can create a backup plan for yourself when life is lifing and when you know you're going to be in a very busy season of life to not set yourself back. I feel like you want
Ooh,
to say something.
I
Yes.
do because this is something I just found out, and I know they're like all over the country. I just found out that True Food Kitchen has meal preps that you can pick up, like
I
in
don't know what
bulk.
your food kitchen is.
Oh my God, girl. Okay, so they're seed oil free, like restaurant. They can be a
Uh-huh.
little pricey, but they have like vegan friendly options. They've got like gluten free friendly options, etc. They used as much organic as possible. And I just discovered, I'm surprised. I thought they would have them in Florida. I know they're in
They
California, but I
might.
think,
I just haven't seen that ever.
oh yeah, I just found out that they have an option because we'll order them online sometimes, like as a little like dinner treat. I mean, I say treat, but like really, like we're old. That's exciting for us. Um, and scrolled down and they had meal prep options
That's
where
cool.
you could get like a protein in bulk, a like carb in bulk, and veggies in bulk, and then you just like do your own weighing. And I was
That's
like,
really
holy
cool.
shit. So guys, that is an idea. If you live near a True Foods kitchen and you know you're gonna have a busy week, hit them up. Not sponsored, but their food is really good.
Yeah. And I like that you said the in bulk because, for example, with Hummus Fit, I've ordered some like meals, like they're already like quesadillas or this or that. But that is like once in a while when I want something a little fancy, fun.
Fun.
On the day to day, I order in bulk grilled chicken and I just warm it up, add my rice, and I call it a day
Mm-hmm.
because it just makes
Easy.
it that much easier. I don't like cooking chicken. I don't like making it. I don't like touching it. That's my thing. And it also is a lifesaver when I'm in a busy season of life. There's so many tools and resources that will help you continue making progress if you look for them, if you want those resources, if you want those tools. And I just want everyone to remember that chaos does not stop progress, quitting does. The only thing that can stop you from moving forward is when you quit. You can't control when life is lifing, but you can control the standard that you set for yourself and what you do, what is acceptable for you. So if Sorry, but if being a quitter and not reaching your goals and creating this victim mentality for yourself is what you want as your standard, okay.
Mm.
But I feel like a lot of people don't. I feel like a lot of people want to do better, even if they have a hard time figuring out how to do better. And it all starts with understanding that you have the power and the capability to make those changes in order to live the life that you want to be living, even when life is lifing. So that is it. That is all. Mans, do you have another nugget to throw in, or do you feel like we covered everything here?
Gosh darn jolly. I think we did a great job.
I agree. I agree. I'm gonna drop in the show notes both mine and Mandy's Instagram handles. So if you have any questions, if you need any help, we're both coaches, online fitness coaches. So any help, questions, anything that you might need, hit us up in the DMs. We also both have our coaching applications in there. Not trying to throw out our coaching, but throwing out our coaching. Anyways, long story short, please like, comment, subscribe, and stay tuned for the next sculpt session Sunday. And don't get discouraged when life is lifing because you're a badass and you freaking got this. All right? We'll catch you on the next one.
Bye.